Hey, what's going on, guys? It is drizzling over here, and it's a little chillier today, even though chilly here seems to be like 75 degrees, but that's all right. We are getting through it. And before I get into today's topic, I just wanted to complain about something really quick. So, something that makes absolutely no sense to me, making videos, and maybe some of you have experienced this as well, but you can see I have AirPods in right now. So, now if I were to normally just use these AirPods, I can like talk to Siri and she'll respond from picking up the audio through them and also like prompting me through them. So it's very clear it has good audio technology, and it's very evident too because I'm a truck driver and a lot of them like to talk on the phone. So I'll periodically be on the phone with like a lot of different guys while I'm driving around out there, noisy truck in the background and all that. And these AirPods, they do the trick. They pick up the audio. I can have a clear, concise conversation with other people despite all the background noise, and it's great. But for some reason, no matter what, I don't know why Apple decided this, but I cannot use my AirPods as an official Bluetooth device to record the audio on my videos. I don't know why, because if I bought like a standard recorder or a microphone off of like Amazon, so I would put something into my phone, right? And that would connect it via Bluetooth. And that would now become my microphone for when I'm talking, which would be more clear, of course, especially when I'm far away. However, like that's just not an option with the AirPods. And I don't know why, because I think they do a fantastic job. Like, I don't know if Apple has some type of product specifically designed for capturing audio on videos, in which case, like, okay, they intentionally programmed this so that I would have to buy the other thing, but I don't know. I find it a little frustrating. And I mean, in an ideal world, like, of me not working a full-time job, I'd have like a full desktop, like PC setup. I think that would be like the right thing to do. And then I have no idea on cameras and stuff, but like, well, basically what I'm saying is if I was unemployed, the production quality would be a lot better. But right now we're kind of just doing this thing right now, which is, I don't know, I had a couple people say I'm like basically doing mini podcasts. I guess you could look at it that way. I don't know, I'm just kind of chronicling each day, but we're getting through it. I guess like I would like the idea of podcasting in the future. It's just the getting guests part, like getting interesting guests, and then like them also being people I want to talk to. So it's a tough thing. I think like maybe one day, but you know, for right now we're just doing this. And I get it, like it's just a dude walking around outside fucking around on the camera. Like I get it, but I'm just trying to give out like my dialogue on different topics and my opinion and what I think is important and you should look out for, and basically just trying to help other people. So that's just kind of what I'm trying to do with the time I'm allotted. And I don't have the time to be doing big production stuff. So I appreciate everyone that understands that. But anyway, today's topic: should you have hobbies outside of bodybuilding? Now, a lot of people that are in the pursuit of being great at it are going to say no. Like, this is the only thing you have to eat, sleep, and breathe it. But it's not true at all. They are kind of scared, really, because when they're saying that, really what they're saying is that anything else that they do will take away from their bodybuilding. So if they find interest in some other activity, they're scared of that because they think it'll take away from the thing most important to them. And I can understand that worry, but it's really ends up not being true, because you still have your main bodybuilding thing you care about, but the other stuff is honestly just giving you enough catharsis to let off some steam and de-stress a little bit. And that's what a lot of people miss out on, because they're so afraid that they're not going to be as good as they could if they're interested in other stuff. Like, even back in the day, I know Einstein talked about this, and I've done it myself. I know a bunch of you probably have, but like, did you ever you ever get stuck on something you're doing? Like maybe you're trying to learn a new skill, or you're going through some directions of some sort, and you just keep fucking up one part. And no matter what you do, you keep screwing up, and you kind of hit a roadblock, and you're getting pissed and you're getting frustrated because nothing's improving, but you're putting all this time and effort into it, trying to figure it out. So you're frustrated. But like you also, like you've been frustrated enough that you said, I'm going to come to this later, and you put it down and you go do something else, non-task related. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with you not even actively thinking about it, the answer you've been looking for, the thing you should have been doing to get past where you were stuck, it just popped right into your head. And I think there's a word for that, where you put down a heavily attention task and then do something else, and it helps the idea process keep progressing. Like I know a lot of people have experienced that out there, but I think it's the same concept here. Like even if you're into like bowling, or I don't know, shooting, archery, like any, well, I mean, it could even be collecting, like any stuff like that. Like, yeah, that's going to help you come to better realizations in your training career, I feel like, through that process I just described. There will be times you get stuck for like weeks on end, you're getting frustrated, or maybe you're injured, any variety of things, and putting down the bodybuilding for a second and doing some other shit, it's going to end up paying back a lot more than what you think it would. And I mean, I don't know why it works out like that, but that is a thing. That is the thing that happens. Doesn't happen all the time, but that is a thing. And you should try and exercise that thing as much as you can to keep doing better at what you're doing. If you're just like so single task laser focused on bodybuilding, I'm not even going to say get burnt out, because there's people out there that are like, oh yeah, right, that'll never be me. See, I don't want to say burnt out with it, but it's like they're losing enthusiasm for the thing over time, and they're having more bad times than good times via getting stressed out and pissed off at the things they're getting confused and stuck on. So it helps to have other hobbies too, just because the de-stressing is so important. And also it kind of adds to your bodybuilding too, because when you put it down, it kind of feels like it's fresh when you pick it back up. Like for instance, for me, hobby-wise, it's not another physical thing, but I play Magic the Gathering. I know. I've always been a closet nerd. Like, that's all right. I'll take that one. But I like this game that for some reason only neckbeards that don't shower also like. And it's a thinking game, and there's a lot of strategy involved. So I'll do that, and it'll help me de-stress and kind of take a mental step away from all the bodybuilding shit, and it's fun. So I found something fun to do that's making me less uptight, and I feel like it's helping refresh my mind. That's a lot of things right there that are what I'm looking for. And I did not specifically pick up this hobby because I was looking for that, but it came through the hobby. And I also, like, I've always kind of known since I got into all this stuff that it would be better to have a hobby than not to keep improving the main thing I care about. Like I understood all of these things that are inner working around me, and how if I am so laser focused on bodybuilding that is getting me wound up too tight, I was smart enough to understand that would negatively affect me with the progress I'm trying to make. So like all these things just kind of came, into fruition through just a little bit of forethought, but also just like kind of life happening. I mean, a lot of you out there, you have other shit you like to do. So that shit that you like to do could vary greatly from person to person. Just kind of whatever thing you've learned to do that you enjoy doing, that feels like it's kind of adding to your life or taking away stress, one of those things. But a lot of people, they don't want to have the hobby because they're scared of it, and they're really missing out. Now, like, hopefully your hobby's not doing something destructive, but generally speaking, like any activity you're doing that's non-gym specific that you are doing with regularity, I find that that's going to add to your life instead of take away from it. But I mean, I also understand, like, it makes sense to think you don't need that stuff, because, you know, if you're trying to, like, outwardly show the world how much you actually care about this thing, so it becomes the only thing you do, like, I get that, but it's a bit, you know, it's a bit foolish, and it's not thought out all the way. You didn't think that thought out to completion. Kind of had like an anxiety ridden trail of thoughts, and then you've come to the conclusion that you need to wall yourself off from the world. And that's not good for anyone. Certainly not for you, certainly not for those around you, and certainly not for the world, because I think the world would really enjoy you putting in effort. But that's just my opinion about it. So I guess, you know, now that I'm talking more, like, maybe I could kind of understand the podcast vibes. I don't know. But these are things that, you know, these topics come up sometimes regularly, and sometimes just, they're things you're going to encounter down the road. So I find it important to kind of discuss it from the perspective of, hey, I've been there. Like, these things have happened to me. I've had to go through it. I've navigated some things poorly. I've navigated some things correctly. But I have been through these things, and I'd like to share my thoughts on it based on my experience. And honestly, there are people out there that, they understand that, and they're able to learn from other people's experiences. I mean, many others, not so much. Like, a lot of my life too, I was a hard learner. I needed to fuck up for myself instead of learn from someone else's. And that comes with a whole lot of baggage right there, because you can really set yourself back just being an idiot. But that's how I learned for a long time. So, of course, I understand a lot of people are stuck in that. It's my hopes, though, that the people who are not stuck at it can heed the warnings and take the advice. And the people that are stuck at it, I still feel the need to talk, even if they don't want to listen, because hopefully one of them will go back or maybe hear something and change their mind enough that I could have made a difference. I find that very important. And a lot of guys, like, they help people, but really they're doing it because they want to talk about how they help people. I found that a lot, especially like any social media influencer. They're kind of out there just for the clout. Now, they might do some good things in the process, but the thing they're focused on is the clout they're going to get from it. So they could do these, like, well-intentioned things. They're helping other people, but really they're doing it for the exposure of being able to kind of virtue signal to other people out there that they're very morally upright and they care about each and every one of you out there. I think that couldn't be farther from the truth, but just my opinion. Really, I mean, you should want to do good things simply because you want to do them. That's why I would know this, because I've been very depressed for most of my life. Currently, no, but it took a lot of growing to get to the point where I don't feel that way anymore. Nevertheless, helping other people, I found, was a great way to try and improve my situation, because it's a selfish thing. When you hear the word selfish, you think, man, that is for people that are self-serving and they're harming others and they take and they don't give. That's what you hear. That's what the connotation you get from hearing the word selfish. But not all selfish actions are like that. For the opposite of selfishness, it's altruism. And to have pure altruism, you do things just for the betterment of the world, and it has no effect whatsoever on you or them for there being a benefit to why you're doing it. So with the selfishness thing, it's a selfish action that you're choosing to help others, because the root of you doing that is because you want to feel good about yourself. And that's all right, honestly, because that's what keeps the world going. You don't have to be so attached to a subject that you have to go to the rooftop screaming and doing all this extra shit to try and display how well-intentioned you are. You just simply want to do the well-intentions because it makes you feel good. And if you really just care about doing the good thing, you don't care about everyone hearing about it. I think that's the main determining factor there. It's the thing that really separates people. You got those that are good for the attention and those that are good to be good. And I've found that helping people when I've been depressed, it's improved my outlook a lot. Because no matter how shitty I'm feeling, I was able to help someone else feel good. And that in turn made me feel a little good too. So it's a very positive, selfish thing, acting in that manner. But people demonize the word so much because there's a lot of words out there with connotations to them. I mean, just like the word drug. Like, when you hear the word drug, you're thinking hard drugs, but a lot of things you're taking are drugs. Most of you are taking a drug today. You're drinking coffee. There's it's a spectrum, obviously. There's a spectrum to it, but people have a lot of connotations with the word, so they jump to the worst when they hear it. It's the same thing with the word selfish. I think it helps acknowledging these things because it makes you like better suited to understand what's going on around you instead of just having things happen and being puzzled with your life, because that'll happen too. But I kind of forgot where I was going with this, but yeah, I really see like there's great importance in helping other people out, but it's got to come from the right place. Yeah, a lot of these clout chasing pieces of shit out there, they weren't always like that. And I don't know why this is happening a lot lately, but it seems like everyone with over 100,000 followers is just like either a closeted scumbag or a scumbag in the open that's gotten caught. And I don't understand that at all. Maybe it's the personality types out there that seek fame and glory that like coincide with being a scumbag. But I just find it so confusing because I don't think it's that hard to be a good person. I just do not think it's that hard to be a good person. I think there's hard decisions to make, and it might creep in to be selfish, or not selfish. It might creep in to be greedy here and there. But ultimately, when you decide to just do the right thing, those are the defining moments right there. And you're not going to find a lot of people out there openly trying to do the right thing. They might do the right thing because they're being watched, or they think they're being watched, or they're just doing the right thing because they know there's ramifications around the corner. But people seldom are doing the right thing just because it's the right thing to do. I find that quality more rare and rare as the time continues to go on. So I find that a bit sad, but I mean, this is the world we live in. And also, I have to keep in mind, my perspective is based on living in a big city where a lot of people are cramped together. So when you have an overpopulated place with this many people, individuals are bound to have the worst in them brought out. I'm sure if it was like in a small town, probably be like a lot more open to the friendliness you see from everybody out there. There's a lot of really nice people in small towns. They're usually like waving to say hi, or they're just happy to see you and they're very greeting, and they're always willing to help out a neighbor. Like if you break down your car in a small town, absolutely someone will stop to help you. It's not like a maybe. It's not a this isn't going to happen. It's like, no, they will. They will do that. It's who they are. And that's nice. And I'm glad I had the experience in being in a few small towns, especially during my late adolescence, because it really helped me form a more well-rounded viewpoint of the world. Because otherwise I'd be thinking everything's like Chicago, where everyone's got an ulterior motive and there's always an agenda being placed for other people to do better. And yeah, like that could really weigh you down over time. Eventually over time you feel like you have a 1,000-pound vest on every time you meet someone new, because you don't know who they're gonna be, but you've seen a lot of shit and not a lot of good shit. So kind of where the basis of the opinions comes from, just kind of your experience up until now, which is definitely valuable to an extent, but sometimes you lose sight of what's really going on there. Like for me, what was really going on is I'm in a big city that's like heavily left-leaning, so people are more willing to experiment and try things to push the social norm boundaries, just a lot of that. And you have everyone cramped together so much, like they're gonna be wound up to an extent. People are gonna be a lot more defensive when they're crowded in like this, and people are a lot more likely to have all the worst possible qualities of them brought out instead of the good ones, because you got everyone acting like that. So that's where my experience has come from. But it made me lose sight of the bigger picture out there, which is that there's a lot more world to see, and the environment someone's in has a lot to do with who they are. As much as individuals don't want to admit that, it's true, because you go to small towns and they're the nicest people in the world. But right now, I'm walking on the south side of Chicago. You know, I can't look too relaxed. I can't look too happy to be walking around outside. You got to keep like if I'm passing other people, I kind of have it pre-programmed to keep a straight face and have like no emotion, but like also like kind of want my demeanor to look like, hey, don't fuck with me. And that's kind of how I walk. I have learned to walk around this city to avoid being fucked with by people that I don't want to be messed with by. And it's funny because people from nicer areas, that's not even a thing that's crossed their mind. Like they're not thinking about doing that. They have really good neighbors, good family structure, and they have a good placing and a good scaffolding to live a good life from there. They don't even need to experience the bad shit you or I have. I mean, there's people out there that have experienced way worse than me, so I got to put that out there. But like a lot of suburban people, like they don't need to experience all that shit. They already have the scaffolding to have a good life. So it really shows you difference in perspective, because I'm over here wanting to make sure I look like I would do something bad to someone if they try to wrong me. And I gotta look like that because this is a dangerous fucking place, man. Not everyone's dangerous. Most people are not, but there's enough of them. There's enough of them that I'm at least crossing paths with one or two of them a day, especially being out there driving a semi truck on these road rage addled roads. Like, it's going to happen. So all I could do is have a real kind of tough looking demeanor, so I can just like navigate my life the quietest as possible. I want my life to be quiet. I don't want all this trouble out there. I want to stay inside. I want to watch TV with my woman, and I want to go to the gym. That's all I want to do to live my life. I'm happy living my life that way. I don't want the loudness of whatever the fuck else is going on out there to creep in, because I don't care about whatever else is going out there. I care about the very small amount of things that matter to me. I really hope that the formatting here and everything, I hope that this is being like coherently received by everyone, because I'm just kind of riffing right now off the top of my head, and I know I've lost a trail I was going to with my my thoughts a few times. So I don't know if on the playback this is going to sound like a bunch of schizophrenic nonsense or what, but I'm just kind of like being a free flow of consciousness right now. It's talking about what's going on, what's on my mind. So I apologize if anything's not making sense, but I felt the need to talk today, so that's why I have my camera on. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this one. I know it's a bit longer, but I don't know. Maybe this is a fucking podcast and I just don't want to accept it. Yep. Have a good day.